crew of the Paper Unicorn, having had just completed a smuggling job on the planet of Urga, which is primarily a farming community. It makes a lot of the foodstuffs for all of Tharnaxis space, which is the followers of the Tharnaxis Church. And so very strict rules on what can come in and come out of Urga, because obviously the church doesn't want to do anything, have anything happen to, you know, its primary food source. So things like new plants, new animals, things like that would be highly illegal or highly regulated coming in. And then of course any kind of anything that would give, there's different plantations of different families that and corporations that you know, under corporations that run the different aspects of the farming communities. So anything that would give them an unfair competitive edge would be against the rules also, or at least in bad taste. So whatever you guys were doing, you have just completed this job, and we're given enough scratch to fuel up your ship, which fuel is your biggest expenditure, because it's so expensive to travel from planet to planet. Plus you have to pay for jump gate permissions and things like that. While on Urga, you have to petition to use their jump gate to go wherever you're wanting to go. You have to have the right kind of paperwork and whatnot. So the bureaucracy does take a little time. So you've just left planet. You're now, the Paper Unicorn is now in the queue to go in the jump gate. As you're sitting there, you know that there's nobody else in line to go through the jump gate, but yet you've been waiting here for an extremely long time. There is a customs cutter that is sitting there just outside the border of the jump gate that watches for, you know, unauthorized travel through the jump gate, whatnot. And you were just given a, you know, please stand by through the comm system. So at this point, having to wait so long, where is everybody in relation to the ship? Oh yeah, there's crew quarters. There's actually 3 levels to a cutter. The top level, of course, is just like the ventilation shafts, but you have your own crew quarters and whatnot. So where would you be as you're waiting for your queue number to come up, and what are your intentions for where you're going to go? Unless you have a destination in mind, what kind of are you thinking about wanting to do and whatnot?
Do we have any cargo stores right now?
It's a good question. Foodstuffs are highly regulated, so there would be some things maybe considered in other areas like the barbarian areas or other lawless areas as delicacies. So you could probably get a decent markup on price if you were to take some like different mushrooms and things like that they grow here, take them somewhere else, or spices. So you certainly could have something. That's completely up to you.
Well, we as a ship, we've decided that we are going to do maybe things a little more illicit than others, right?
Okay.
So are we talking about, do we have a small set of legal cargo, and then maybe a hidden cargo container, or smuggling areas that have less than legal cargo?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly possible.
Pyke, it's your ship.
Oh, yeah, we are absolutely on a spice run right now. So after we settled up whatever last job we were on, we found a legitimate run to...
In this case, in this world, like spice, or like equivalent, like illicit trade, would be likely like weapons and food, right?
Yes,
Foodstuffs, because that's so tightly controlled.
correct.
So maybe we have a legal food drop, but then we have maybe some delicacies and things that wouldn't, or even basic foodstuffs that aren't available to some of the other populations in our smuggling hold.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's real good. So maybe we got we got a job actually carrying some.
Like some church-sanctioned food for these barbarians in the outer set of planets, but we also have some things that the barbarians are going to pay a little bit more for.
So the church sanctioned run was basically a drop off of their approved foodstuffs.
Mm-hmm. Crates all stamped with the church seal, and
Right.
And then we had a. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
How do the barbarians feel about the church?
For the most part, they don't really like them. As it's one of those where the churches start their influence is starting to spread into their areas. So it wouldn't be like something where you're going to get attacked because you're bringing them. You're trying to sell some church sanctioned grains or whatever. It would be more of you could go to one of the more destitute areas and they would happily take what you have. So it's you're not like doing something bad by doing that.
Or could we be bringing weapons to the barbarians so they can keep the church out of their area?
You certainly could. The church sanctions a lot, not just foods, but they do a lot of repressing weaponry, especially like ship weaponry and larger scale things. Not that you would have room for things like that, but weapon systems, computer systems, targeting systems, things like that would be highly illegal to move. And also, things like, 'cause they also have the church areas have a higher like tech level than others, so the barbarians don't necessarily have great ships, fuel efficiency, things like that.
I like the idea of bringing the barbarian stuff to kind of push the church out a little bit. I kind of get the impression we're probably not big fans of the church. Or the church is not big fans of us.
I definitely like the idea that the barbarians hired us to bring them two sets of things. The official stuff and the unofficial stuff. So whatever we want that unofficial cargo to be, I think weapons or some computer gear, something like that would be cool.
I agree with that. I think I like it if we could flip it a little bit. The church hired us to make the legal run, but then we reached out to the barbarians and made a separate deal for the illicit materials.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
For the weapons.
Do one of us have a contact in the barbarians already established? Do we know a guy that's there?
If anybody does, I'd be willing to bet it's probably Pyke.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, I know a guy.
So if you're looking at it like say in Star Wars terms, barbarian space is your outer rim. It's it's technically owned by the church, but it's so far removed from them that lawlessness and things like that happen. So if you're looking to peddle like technology that technology is like a generation behind there. So if you have something more, maybe even like 2 seasons ago, was popular or came up with in church space, it would still be new out there. And then also they also don't control as much of the commerce out there. So if you wanted to like hide a lot of money, like like an offshore account and things like that, you could go out to barbarian space. So as you're waiting in your queue, you start to get a jump gate countdown, signifying that you've got a couple of minutes until the gate is clear for you to proceed. And right about the 1 minute mark, you're getting down to about a 60-second countdown. The countdown actually completely stops. And just like, so it's sitting there like 61 seconds for like 18 seconds. And you're like, you know, it just hasn't moved.
From the cockpit, Ram gets on the shipwide comm. Countdown stalled, guys.
Then there's static, and then you hear from the other cutter, wait one. And then he forgets to turn off his comm, mute his comm, so you hear him, and he's like, you know, we need to call maintenance. Somebody needs to get up here and do something about this. This is the third time this has happened. And then from behind you hear, no, it's not stalled out again. Something's coming through. And then he says, what? And just as he says that, the jump gate opens up, and very slowly a vessel comes through. The church cutter is now closing to, looks like it almost to an intercept position. And then he realizes his comms are still hot, and he says, Paper Unicorn, just hold your position there.
Seeing the ship coming through via the cockpit and sensors, Ram's definitely going to back the ship off of the wait position and get a little bit more distance. And then on the comms, Ram's like, guys, we have an unknown coming through the gate.
As you say
Unknown
that,
in the gate.
As you say that, you feel Calvin's hands on your shoulders, and he starts massaging you. We believe in you. You can do it. Keep us safe, big guy.
Please don't touch me.
And
We've talked about this. Please don't touch me.
He just sits down on the seat right behind you, and you feel a foot every now and then just tap the back of your seat.
Pyke was off in his room. Let's just play to the cliche. He was definitely exercising. He had some space weights.
One-handed push-ups?
He was doing one-handed space push-ups. He actually crawled under his bunk, and of course the bunk is made up of like iron girders that he has a mat thrown on top of, right? So I was under the bunk, and I was doing one-handed push-ups from underneath the bed, using it as extra resistance for my big bulging space muscles.
Pyke, can you please, Calvin keeps touching me. Can you please come up here and have him stop touching me, please?
Calvin! And you hear him just kind of echo through the ship, not even over the comms. And you hear him grumbling, because the comm lines are just open. So what's going on? I just gotta get this run done. Alright, fine. Goddamn. I don't even...
Pyke, the comms are on.
Yes, I know. I want you to hear my displeasure with the situation.
Understood.
I'm on my way. So you'll hear him grumbling through the ship. He slams open one of the hatch doors, slams it shut behind him. He'll crawl up. He'll climb up one of the ladders and pull his way into the cockpit where you two are.
Just as you pop up on the ladder, Calvin's like laying on his stomach, looking down the ladder, and you pop up and they're like face to face. Hi.
I told you not to do that.
But we don't listen very well.
I told you both not to do that. Jeez. Get back in the seat. On the other side. Other side.
All right. Calvin goes over and sits in the seat on the opposite side of where he was, so he can't kick Ram's chair anymore, and he just absentmindedly keeps kicking the chair in front of him.
And Pyke will sit down in the seat next to Ram. I'm not much of a pilot, but I know enough of the ship diagnostics and the computer panels and stuff to understand what's going on to my ship. So I hit a couple buttons, look at a couple screens. All right, so what's going on? Something came through. We can't jump. What's happening?
So we were waiting for the Clipper to let us through the gate, and then the Clipper told us to wait longer. Then the comm was left open, and they said there was a malfunction, And then there was no malfunction, but then this ship came through the gate, and Ram points kind of out the view screen, out the cockpit window, at the large vessel coming out of the jump gate.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
This is an unfamiliar vessel.
Do you want us to call him and ask him to move?
No, let's hold off on that. Huh. So do I recognize this other ship at all?
It doesn't have like an alien design. It's a standard clipper design. It looks like it's been pretty modified.
The ship coming through the gate is also a clipper?
Correct.
Okay.
Does it have like a big church symbol on the side of it? Or
It certainly does not. I mean, from this distance, you couldn't visually see it from like just through the front view screen, but maybe with a little computer savvy, you could enhance the view a little bit.
I would consider trying to do that with my computer's knowledge focus.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to this is through operation, and you would add your operation to your D10 roll. This is just you're just doing a manipulating of systems, so it's not something crazy. The difficulty this is pretty standard stuff. So I'll say,
okay.
As a matter of fact, I'll even make it easy. So your difficulty. I'll make it just standard. So your difficulty is 6 on a standard roll.
All right, so I'm rolling 1d10 plus my operation.
Correct.
Okay. Rolling. 8.
Okay. So, and your operation is
4, so that gives me a 12.
12. So that's at least 5 over your target number. So that is an excellent success. So not only do you enhance it enough where you can kind of pick out some markings, but you can actually clearly see the church clipper has completely docked with it, so they're side by side, and you can actually see inside the front screen of both clippers. The mystery one you can't see much inside because it looks like it's depowered. But you can see inside the church one, you enhance it enough where you can actually see the pilot. And you can see the markings on the mystery one, and the markings are consistent with a TTMC ship. And TTMC is the Thames Transport and Mining Company, one of the major corporations.
Ram points to the TTMC logo on the ship. This could be trouble.
why?
The church and the TTMC could be trouble.
Do we know? Do those two organizations not like each other?
For the most part, it's pretty common knowledge that they don't necessarily get along. They're not like at war or anything like that. But TTMC is all about profit, and they'll go to worlds and strip them bare and take whatever advantages they can. The church is a little bit more, or I should say, a little bit less nefarious when it comes to trying to reap profit out of worlds and things like that. So their ethical practices is always in question by the church.
But you said that Ram was able to give us such a good zoom and enhance that we can actually see into the cockpit, right?
Yes, the church cockpit, the church cutter's cockpit is powered, so you can actually see through the front screen, and you can see the pilot. Yes, the other vessel is depowered, so it's just dark. You can't see anything.
What's the pilot doing?
At this point, he looks kind of agitated. Let's see. We could do an awareness check for those of you watching. I don't know if any of you have any of the. Not necessarily. It's more of an observation of human nature, things like that. So none of you guys are in the medical field or anything like that. So unless you have, so it would just be your straight up D10 plus your awareness bonus.
I'm gonna roll it.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Ram's not paying attention. He doesn't catch subtle social clues, so.
Okay. All right. So
I got an 8, so
okay. Oh, did yours didn't roll on the screen?
I saw it roll on my
It
screen.
must have popped. It must have went off when Chris rolled his. So that
Yeah.
there we go. Yep. Okay. So a 7 and a 9. So what were your totals again? I'm sorry.
I had a 9 total.
I had an 8 total.
Pyke, what you notice is, this guy looks like he's the pilot is nervous. He's fidgety. He won't sit still. Calvin, what you pick up is that he's nervous, fidgety, whatnot, but then also looks like he's doing everything he can to hold his position, as if he's like, you get the feeling that he wants to join his comrades.
I don't think he wants to be there anymore. I think he wants to leave. And as Calvin says this, he slowly has crept up next to Pyke and kind of has his head sitting on his shoulder. And he's pointing at the screen. See? He keeps looking back. He keeps looking back like he wants to go back with his friends. I wonder what's going on in the back.
So normally this type of behavior would upset Pyke, but I'm pretty intrigued by what's happening, so I'm not letting it bother me that much right now. Yeah, this is weird, guys. Something's going on.
Should we call him?
Yeah. Ram, can you open the comms for me?
Yes, sir. And Ram keys a few buttons, and the comms open up.
Then you see the pilot lean over, and he kind of looks over his shoulder and at a blinking light, and then he leans over and pushes a button. He says, "Stand by, paper unicorn."
Does he cut off the
No,
comm?
it's still active. This guy doesn't seem to know when to cut it off. So he just pushed the button, and then said, "Stand by," and then he looks back over his shoulder as if he's waiting for something.
He doesn't know how to take his finger off the button.
Right? It's like he's like stuck.
I will look sharply at both Ram and Calvin, finger to the lips, and make a wait symbol, hoping that we can hear something through this luckily open comm link.
Ram nods twice and then looks back at the screen.
Okay. All right. So as you're waiting there, he's now steady. He's not looking agitated. Well, he's looking agitated, but he's not like looking back at the screen or at the comms at all. He's almost completely like turned around in his chair, looking back through like a blast door, like something's going on. And in the background, you hear this like almost like a muffled yelling. And then all of a sudden, he spins in his chair and slams a button down, and you see the blast door behind him go and seals off the bridge. And then he turns and he pushes the button. And then he realizes that he had left the comms activated. And he says, paper unicorn, do you read?" And then and at the same time, he activates an automatic SOS.
Ram nods and looks at Pyke, and while Ram is nodding, he's hitting a couple buttons to start recording this feed.
We are live. Control, what's going on?
We've got a situation here. Are you capable of coming and getting me? We're attached to this vessel, and we can't detach. And something's happened to the crew. The boarding crew went in, and I've lost contact with them. And I need some help here.
Ram looks at Pyke, literally not sure what to do next.
Okay, so point of order question about my knowledge of my ship.
Okay.
Is there a way to dock without putting us in a high degree of risk?
You would have to dock. You'd have to attach your airlock to theirs.
Yeah.
So the only other way to do that would be you wouldn't actually physically dock. You would have to get close enough and then spacewalk from one to the other. But if you're not connected, then your computers couldn't sync, and you wouldn't be able to open up their airlock. You would have to actually crack it open.
Well, gate control, I'm sure we could do something, but if you're already docked to one ship, and you're worried about being docked to one ship, that certainly makes me not want to dock to your ship.
I understand your concern. Could you, first and foremost, can you relay the SOS back to the planet?
Yeah, we can do that, absolutely. And I'll nudge Ram's shoulder to do that. Now, I'm not saying I'm not willing to help, but it certainly appears that there's a high degree of risk to my ship, my crew, and my livelihood. I don't know if it's worth that risk at this point.
Right. He says, okay, I'll tell you what, go comms secure.
Ram flips a couple buttons on the console, nods at Pyke.
We're secure.
He says, look, I understand. I appreciate your concern for your crew and whatnot. I can pay you.
Now, those are words I like to hear.
He says, we obtained some contraband that from a ship that came through earlier today. We haven't logged it yet. It's yours if you come and get me.
Ram looks at Pyke and makes kind of like a money sign with his hand.
I'll look over to Calvin, who's still, I'm assuming, right up in my business.
Yep. Yes, he is. Yeah, we're in.
Well, I would not be opposed to a little bit of a payday here and there. I think we might be able to make this happen. What's your name, friend?
Shioran Povey.
All right, Shiorn. This deal is between you and me, and that is the end of the deal. I get you off that boat, that cargo comes with you, and we are gone.
Understood.
All right, stand by. We will dock up. We will make our way to where you are. We will keep a secure comm link. I'm going to assume, based on my knowledge of all sci-fi tropes, we can key in a comm link that he can have access to while we're moving throughout his ship while we're entering, like a portable. I can give him my cell phone number, right?
Yes. There's you can. A mobile comm is mobile comm frequency is fine.
All right, so I will relay a secure mobile comm so that we can stay in communication. And okay, Shorn. So we've got 3 coming with me and my 2 crew, and let's make this as quick, painless, and profitable as possible.
That's fine. He says, here, and he starts keying. Now that you've got this secure comm set up, he actually hands over access to the computer systems of his ship to you, which is highly irregular.
Ram's eyes get wide.
I very excitedly smack Ram on the shoulder.
Ram nods excitedly and starts keying in a couple of commands on a system to his left that literally just starts pulling every piece of data it can off of that connection to the other ship's computer.
Okay.
Log data, everything. I'm not being coy about it.
So you're just like it's completely out in the open that you're sucking dry his entire database.
Well, I'm copying everything he gave us access to. Like I'm literally just I'm going to use my hack digital networks knowledge focus to try and make it a little bit less obvious on their side.
Okay. Yep.
Cover our tracks.
That's totally doable. So that would be an operations check on your end.
All right. That'd be a 10.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you cover your tracks well enough, mask it through. You're trying to look into. You make it look like you're looking into current security feed to see, what you're getting yourself into and things like that. And all the time, in the meantime, you're also calling up as much other data as you can at the same time. So the security feed itself, you see that the layout is basically the same as your ship, but you see that some of the areas are not covered on the security cameras. Perhaps it's for commanding officer doesn't like to be viewed, things like that. So it's more near the crew areas. The cargo area is pretty full. Looks like it has quite a bit of foodstuffs and a couple of other things set off to a side, like a designated area for, like a secure area. And there's a guy in there. Looks like he's like digging through some of the crates and eating some of the food.
On any of the feeds, does it show that there's any kind of threat to the ship? Because we saw him close those blast doors pretty hurriedly.
Right. Not at this point. I mean, it doesn't look like there's like like any kind of aliens or, monsters creeping through or anything like that. Other than this guy that you see like digging through one of the boxes, and all you really see is like his back half and his legs as he's kind of like half in, half out of one of these boxes. But yeah, and for a cutter like this, pulling like border watch and whatnot, there should probably at least be like 3 or 4 other guys. You don't see any of them. You cycle through all the cameras and they're not there. And then when you get to the other airlock, because each of the cutters have airlocks on either side, so their port side airlock is attached to the derelict vessel. So
we can dock on the starboard side.
Correct.
Got it.
So you look through the security camera feed from that airlock, and all you see is blackness on the other side, as just enough light that came through as the airlock doors had opened when they completely docked. But then other than just seeing just a little bit inside the airlock of the other ship, nothing, completely black. Not even emergency lighting.
Got it.
But the airlock is open.
Correct.
Using their computer systems, I'm going to try and close that airlock to the other vessel.
Okay. All right. Are you doing all of this before docking procedures, or are you doing it?
Doing this before we dock with their ship.
Okay.
So as we're going over and we are connected to their ship, I'm going to try and secure the airlock on their side, so that if there is something on the TTMC vessel, maybe we can stop it from getting on the cutter.
Okay.
The church cutter.
Okay. All right. That's another operations check.
And we'll do that. Boom and boom. 8.
Okay. You see the church cutter's airlock door closes.
Okay.
And seals. You get the confirmation ping of a seal.
All right, Shorn, we are coming in on starboard to lock up. We didn't see any other crew aboard. Do you know where the rest of your boys are?
He says no. The watch sergeant and Rello and Bornin, they went aboard the other ship. They never came back out.
Who's that guy in your hold having a little chow down?
You see, through the feed that you've got now, he gets on his computer and he starts looking and he says, "I don't know."
All right, stand by. I'm going to switch to our secure mobile comms. We will be in communication as we are coming to you. Stay in place.
Please hurry.
Stand by.
Loran would also like to use manipulate linked system to try and lock down the storage area, the cargo area that one person is in,
Okay.
to keep them in that cargo area.
All right. That's another operations check. You've already got hold of the system, so that's going to be an easy task. So
Okay.
target number is 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
11.
Hey!
Nicely done. So you not only lock it, but you also get maybe an extra little something. So what else did you pull off with that?
So in addition to locking the room down, the air filters have come on, and I'm actually lowering the oxygen content in the room.
Okay.
To try and cause the guy to pass out.
Okay. And yeah, you're reading. You've got you've locked it down, and you see that the atmosphere is slowly being vented out. Not drastically enough where you'd notice it at first. Maybe start getting lightheaded, and yeah, as you're beginning your docking procedure, which takes a few minutes. By the time you've connected up, you estimate that whoever that person is probably going to be out cold. Are you going to continue to drop it, or are you just going to leave it at a point where they're unconscious?
Leave it at a point where it's going to leave them just keep them unconscious.
All right. So then docking with a willing vessel is not that difficult, so that's going to be an operations check as well. And it's pretty standard, so it's going to be a difficulty of 6.
11.
All right. So docking is achieved, and you are now locked in.
Ram kind of keys a couple more things on the console, and out of a pocket on his jumpsuit, he pulls out a data cable and runs the data cable into the console, and then runs it into a port behind his ear. And with a couple more keystrokes on the left side of the console and 1 or 2 on the front of him, Ram suddenly sits up straight in the seat, and his eyes just start flickering back and forth. And Pyke has seen this before. He can tell that Ram's transferring data from the console into his head. And this takes a couple minutes, and then Ram comes out of it. He looks a tiny bit groggy, but he unplugs the data cable from his head, plugs it from the console, and then turns to Pyke to say, all secure comms have been stored safe, and knocks on his noggin a couple times.
All right, boys, let's play this as safe as we can, but let's keep an eye on the prize. I do not trust anything out of that big ship over there. We need to get in and out.
Agreed.
But that being said,
Agreed.
That being said, if there's something extra valuable, I would hate to not walk away with a little bit extra.
By right, if the big ship is dead and we claim it, if it's a derelict, we could claim it.
I haven't been running a ship that long, but I've never seen a ship go derelict that fast. Plus, we are right in church territory. They might beat us to that punch.
Just saying.
So, do you want us to go down to the cargo hold and see what's down there?
No. Not unless we have to. I don't like the looks of that.
Okay.
Where
are we going first then?
Crap. I bet that's where the contraband is, though.
That the being in the cargo hold should be unconscious if my calculations are correct.
Haven't known your calculations to be incorrect yet, buddy.
I try.
All right, let's play it careful. Grab your gear, weapon up. We're gonna go get Shiorn. We got to get him safe. That's the deal. And he's gonna tell us where the contraband is. Hopefully, Chow Down Face went nighty night, and we can get in and out without anything going wrong.
Because that always goes so well for us.
I don't need your judgment. I don't need that right now. Focus up. Game face on.
He waves his hand in front of his face and tries to look serious.
Ram just stares at Calvin for a minute,
Calvin stares
and
back.
then walks out of the room to go get his gear.
Calvin opens up the little side compartment, pulls out a pistol, puts it on his side. And, we're ready.
All right. I'm gonna grab my sword. Wait for Ram to get back.
Ram comes back a moment later with he's putting on what appears to be kind of an oldish belt and holster, and the pistol itself looks pretty old too. And slung over his shoulder, he's got a what appears to be just a beat up piece of garbage rifle. Maybe found it in a dumpster somewhere, or cobbled it together from spare parts on the ship. But I mean, it's pretty rough looking.
Did we not fix that last time we got paid? I thought we were going to get you a new gun.
It's worn, but it works.
We fixed it.
I thought we were going to have a professional fix that gun.
It does. The gun does what the gun needs to do.
All right. But if you shoot me again, we're going to have a problem.
Don't walk in front of me next time.
I thought you were aiming down the other hallway. I didn't think you were aiming down where I was going. I was in between you and those big, nasty whatevers they were. I was cutting them up.
No need.
You didn't have to shoot them.
No need to argue.
All right, fine. Next time, we'll deal with this later. Let's get this done.
Agreed.
Everybody ready?
We're ready. We're just waiting for you. We always are waiting for you.
All right. So we will head down to the cargo bay where the airlock is.
Okay. All right. And moving to the other ship. All right. So you are now in your airlock, and you are connected over to the other airlock. And I will do a reveal of the inside of that. There we go. Does everybody see their guys?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So at this point, we'll do it as a. You have the Ram. You have the security network relayed in through your comm system, so you can.
That is correct.
So you can see essentially everything. So I'm going to just go ahead and reveal everything here. Here we go. All right. So as you're looking at it, you the security system. I mean, it picks up a lot of the stuff, but as you're looking in through the airlock now, you can see in this workshop area there is definitely smears of blood on the deck and on a couple of the doors.
All right. So as we are entering this airlock, I'm assuming that we can see straight across the hall to the other airlock.
Correct.
But Ram did shut that before we even docked.
Yep.
Quick question.
Ram kind of points to the blood splatters on the floor and the smears and says, "Seems to have been a struggle."
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
we see that
So,
too.
I am going to move forward very slowly, sword drawn, basically taking a step or two, pausing, looking around,
Okay.
taking another step or two, pausing, looking around. I kind of want to move into the middle of this hallway, because this ship is the one that's pretty much exactly like the layout of my own ship, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so I want to move into the middle of the hallway, knowing that I can look back towards the workshop, which is there's a door through the workshop towards the cargo.
Yeah, and that door is open.
hold. The door into the workshop
Correct,
is open.
and that's how you can see the blood
Okay.
on the door that leads into the cargo hold.
Is that door closed?
It is closed. That's the one that was sealed,
All right.
and
When we vented the
Correct.
oxygen. Okay. All right. We're not going to go that way, guys. Let's get Shorn first and foremost. That's our priority. And I will make my way towards the cockpit. Definitely making sure that I am at least a couple paces ahead of Ram and Calvin, just to take the brunt of anything dangerous before it would get to them.
okay. So go ahead and place your guys where you're going to be.
Calvin,
Was this
Calvin's going to replace you at the doorway to the workshop, just kind of holding his rifle into the doorway.
all right? Now, was the door into this cockpit area locked?
Yes, that
was-
was the one that was sealed by Shioran. And it was
Okay.
it was an override, so the security system, it doesn't allow. He's got it so that way it won't allow anybody to go in.
Gotcha. All right, so I will take up a position at that door. I'll look over my shoulder back at Calvin and Ram. You guys ready?
Calvin just pulls out his pistol and stands next to Pyke, and yeah, we're ready.
All right, so I will kick open the secure mobile comms. Shorn, knock knock.
Okay. You hear a knocking on the other side of the door, and Shioran says, "Is it clear?"
Looks like it.
So the door opens, and you see this pilot, and he grabs onto you immediately, like not like in a threatening way, but more of a oh thank God. He like starts.
Easy, buddy. Easy.
As soon as he does that, Calvin reaches up and just gives him a big hug and just says, "It'll be okay. We're here. Let Pyke go. He doesn't like to be touched."
All right, he lets go. Okay. He points towards the other airlock, and he says they went in there. They didn't come out. I didn't see anything else, but I heard some screaming coming from the aft, and that's when I sealed the door. He says, where did all this blood come from?
Was going to ask you that. Didn't think it was your style of decoration.
It was here when we got here.
All right, he says something must have came through. I didn't see it though. Damn it! And he starts like hitting himself on the head, like stupid.
Calm down. It's all right. We've all been there. All right, so we've got you. Where is our payment?
It's in the cargo hold.
Of course it is. All right, I'll look over to Ram. So, I know you shut down the vents. Is it safe to go in there, or do we need to grab some equipment?
It should be safe. Simply opening the door should vent atmosphere back into the room, allowing us to breathe.
All right. Well, Shorn, how big is this stuff that you picked up? Are we talking about a couple bags we can grab and run? Are we talking about boxes we need to try to pick up and lug with us?
And he says, it's in a environmentally sealed case, probably about 10 or 15 kilos.
Well, I think I can pick that up. Should be okay.
We can manage.
All right. Okay, so this is going to be just like the Andromeda job. In, grab, out. Nice and easy. We're not going to rush. We're not going to panic. Shorn?
That is the opposite of the Andromeda job.
That's right.
It's like the planning of the Andromeda job.
Ah.
We planned the Andromeda job.
Ah, yes.
We did?
Maybe you weren't listening, Calvin, because I think it was your fault why that went bad.
It wasn't our fault.
Technically, I think Steven helped us plan that.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
Pyke is gonna pinch the bridge of his nose. He's had this headache of a conversation way too many times.
And that's when you feel the familiar hands rubbing your shoulders.
No.
And they slowly back off.
2 hands on your gun. 1 to aim, 1 to pull the trigger. We practice this.
Okay.
All right. Shorn, your job is to stay right here.
And don't die.
Okay.
Do the second one first.
Ram has a small, like almost like a miniature keyboard on the sleeve of his left arm, and he keys a couple of commands into that small keyboard, and the airlock door to the paper unicorn shuts.
Okay. Yeah, Shorn like jumps when that seals because of course it's super fast. So it's like, oh,
All right, just sit right here in front of the airlock. We locked it to keep our ship safe. We need to get away. Stay calm. Take a breath. Do you have a weapon? Do you have any kind of defense with you?
all right. You see like his recognition crosses his face, and he goes, "I left it by my chair."
How about you go back and get it before we leave?
Oh, okay. He runs off into the cockpit to go get his weapon.
He doesn't listen very well. You said before we leave.
Is it smart that he has a firearm?
Probably not, but I don't think it's smart to be on this ship right now either, so...
And then he
Agreed.
comes back to the door, and you see he has looks like a slug thrower. Says, this is mine.
You know how to use it? You okay with
I
it?
should be okay.
All right. If anything goes down, the 3 of us don't get shot. Anything else gets shot, not the 3 of us.
Understood.
All right.
You see him
The
steel
4 of
himself
us.
for a second. Okay.
I looked over at Calvin. Yeah, we're not going to have that conversation with the new guy. We're not.
No,
Don't.
there's 4 of us.
No, we're not. No, he's too stressed out. He's not going to get it. Just ignore him. He's a long story. All right, let's focus up. Let's get what we need. Let's get out of here. So I will walk through the workshop, walk through that main door, go over to the back door that leads towards the cargo hold that has the blood on it. Is the blood smeared across the door? Is it on the keypad entry point?
As you approach it and you're looking at it, yeah, it looks like it's definitely handprints, as if and just from casually looking at it, you can tell that these hands had made impacts on the door itself, causing splatter. So the hands must have been covered in blood or drenched in it. Like 3 or 4 impacts on the door, and then just around the door sill, on the sides, as if maybe using it for support when the door opened.
Is there a window in this door into the cargo hold?
Yes. It's a small like portal door or portal window that you can see inside.
Yeah.
And as you're looking in, straight ahead of you, you see the box in question, and you see a dude with a...
Was this the same dude that was eating?
Yeah, and you see him, and he's like half in, half out of this box, and he's like kicking his right leg as if trying to get better support on the side of this crate, but can't quite catch purchase on it. So he's just kind of like every once in a while he like wobbles and then he kicks that right leg up trying to get a little bit more steady and then can't get it and just kind of wobbles some more.
Okay, so 2 questions. 1, he's going for the box that we're supposed to get.
No, the
Different box.
Shorin indicated a silver, like a sealed box. This is more of just like a foodstuffs crate.
Okay. Second question: dude's not knocked out.
With the motion, you can tell he's slow, but he's not knocked out yet. And by all reasons of serious reason, he should be.
I'm gonna look back at Ram. You seeing this, buddy?
Ram walks up like equal to Pyke and looks in the window, and then goes back to the keypad on his arm and keys in a couple of adjustments to try and vent the rest of the atmosphere from the cabin.
Yeah, if you're going as regular atmosphere, like Earth-like atmosphere being like a 1, you're at like 0.25. There's no way that whatever's in there should be moving.
Empty it out. Dump it.
Yes, sir. And Ram keys a couple commands and on the keypad on his arm, which should relay back to the computer in the ship, and then dump the atmosphere. Do we want to do a manipulate link systems for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Or should you do the opposite? Maybe you should put more in.
Hyperoxygenate.
Yeah, I think let's try no oxygen or air and see how that works first.
Okay.
Beings tend to operate less well with less air, so let's remove the air from the equation. 10.
10, nice. Okay. So
this is something Ram is very good at.
He certainly is. As you're watching, that leg it's a little bit slower and a little bit slower, and then once your readout hits 0, it kicks like 1 time and then still.
Okay, so then with us being in the workshop area, do we have a rebreather or portable oxygen supply?
There's a supply closet just in front of Ram, or to the right, from his right. So yeah, if you go by your layout, you figure there's probably a first aid kit and things to rebreathers, things like that, to just in case you're stuck in the cargo hold.
Ram will make a note to the team here, and that is that we will need to repressurize, or we will not be able to open the door.
Oh, good point.
See,
I suggest we repressurize and move quickly to try and apprehend the being before he becomes conscious.
Who said anything about apprehending this dude? I want to get past him.
That too. Let me know on your mark. I can repressurize.
Okay, so I still want to grab a rebreather, right? So I want to hook that to my belt and kind of jimmy it a little bit so I can grab it quickly if I need to. I want to make sure it works.
Okay.
And I'm going to look back at Ram. All right. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to pressurize. As soon as we can open the door, I'm going to run in. I'm going to grab the package. I'm going to run out. If that thing starts to move, you're going to shoot it. Once I get back out, we're going to slam the door, lock it, and dump the atmosphere. Right?
Just like Andromeda?
No.
Yes. Just like Andromeda.
Yes, just like
Calvin?
Andromeda. Yes.
We good? We got the plan? We
Yes.
all have the plan?
Yes, we wait here. You run. You come back. We shut door.
Yes.
Got it.
If
Oh.
that...
And shoot if it gets up, but not
Yes.
shoot you.
Yes.
2 hands on gun. Aim. Shoot.
All right. Let's do it. So I I'm going to holster my sword, crack my knuckles, flex a little bit, get ready to run.
I imagine Pyke's in there going.
Yep. I've got both hands on the frame of the door. I'm psyching myself up. All right, let's go.
And 3 key punches and a press, and the room starts to repressurize.
Okay. Room begins to repressurize.
And there's let's just say on the door there is a light that goes from red to green on the side of the door, and the door slides open.
All right, the door slides open. Pyke, so as you see the door opens, if you look at the map there, on your left and the far corner, you see a silver pressurized box sitting within some sort of like yellow tape on the ground, some sort of cordoned off area that says, and then like the tape itself says like restricted, and but it doesn't look like there's any kind of like a force field or anything crazy like that. It's just, this is the place where you put restricted stuff. So as you're looking, the door opens, you immediately see the silver box that your payday, and that's when you see the guy's leg start to move a little. So what we need to do is we need to do what's called battle reflex. And what that is everybody, it's initiative. So you're rolling, your battle reflex is a D10 plus your speed plus your awareness. This is done at the beginning of every fight. And this determines your order. And then you would spend, on your turn, then you would spend your action points to move or do whatever. So he's moving, but for the first round, he's not going to actually do much other than just kind of like come to.
All right. Ram rolled a 9 for his battle reflex.
Okay. Ram rolled a 9.
Calvin got a 7.
Calvin got a 7.
Pyke has a 10.
And Pyke gets a 10. Nice. Pyke, you're first. Like I said, you see the guy. He looks like his leg moves again. You're like, uh-oh. So you're first to act. Now, with AP costs, essentially what you can do is what's your AP? I think it's 4, right? So with action points of 4, you can spend 1 action point to move, and each point you spend to move, you can actually move 4 squares.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking that what we rolled became our action economy for combat and such. Okay. Can we count squares diagonally, or do we have to count?
Yeah, squares diagonally is fine.
Okay. So I'm sitting here psyching myself up. I see this guy moving. I'm just going to tell myself to run, grab it, and go.
Okay.
So my intent here, if we're looking at this cinematically, I have my hands on the door frame. I'm just going to yank myself into the room, sprint as hard as I can directly towards the restricted area. I see myself kind of almost not slipping, but skidding towards it at the very end, make a couple hard runs, and then not almost baseball slide into it. And then I want to, ideally here, my goal is to get over there, pick it up, throw it over my shoulder, and run back. Now, however we have to break that down in our action economy, that's my intent here.
Well, to move to it is going to cost you 1 action point. Okay, you have a total of 4, so now you're down to 3. And then, of course, to move back is going to cost you 1. So that leaves you with 2. To pick it up is going to, I'll tell you what, we'll do it this way. You're going to do a toughness check at a standard. So you're going to need a 6. So if you roll a 6, that's going to cost you your 2 points. So you could get there, pick it up, and I'm sorry. If it'll cost you 3 points to get it because it's unwieldy. It's not so much that it's overly heavy. It's just kind of bulky and kind of not easy to sling on your shoulder. So we'll say that if for a standard success, it'll cost you 3 action points. If you get an excellent success, so if you get an 11 or greater, then that'll reduce the action point cost by 1, so you can run, grab it, and run out. Does that make sense?
All right. Absolutely. My toughness is a 2. So rolling here. That's a 9 total.
Okay. So what you can do is you can get there, pick it up, sling it on your shoulder. That's going to cost you your 4 points. So, okay, go ahead and move your guy in onto the purple X there. And then you have the box. Okay, so the next to move is Ram. So what are you doing, Ram? You see, he struggles with the box. He gets it in position, but it took him a little bit longer to get it settled. Otherwise, he might have dropped it on the run back.
Ram is taking up a position inside the door with his rifle trained on Creepy Crawly in the box. And with his action, I'm actually going to keep watch.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold my action to see if the creature actually does anything. I'd like to use my third action point to key in one more set of commands on my keyboard, which is recording the security feed for the cargo hold on our ship.
Okay. Oh, getting a visual accounting of what happened?
A visual accounting of this particular, so we can see this thing. And I didn't ask this before. Are all the lights on in the hold? Like, is it fully lit?
No. It's just the basic floor lighting. Power conservation mode.
So I will just, with my free hand, after I key in the commands, I'll reach behind me and slap the light console that's mounted next to the door to flip on all the lights in the hold, so we get a nice clear view of whatever this thing is.
Okay. All right. So all the lights go boom, 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 boom immediately. And yes, you are now recording. All
right. That's my action. So I've got one action I'm holding. Everything else is spent.
Okay. All right. And now Calvin.
Calvin just takes up a position in the doorway, and I am just staring at the guy who's unconscious, and I want to basically take aim at him. So if he moves, I can fire as soon as I see him moving.
Okay. Shioran is now sitting. You hear him move, but he just moves over towards the airlock. He's just kind of hiding around the corner there. Doesn't want to present himself as any kind of a target. All right, so now I'm going to roll for old boy here. See where he falls in the action. All right, so he goes last. So it's back around to Pyke. He is definitely the guy in the box is definitely moving. He's definitely awake. You can definitely tell that he is going to be moving. I'll say that he slides a little bit more out than in of the box, and you see he's got these really spindly legs with looks like ripped up fatigues and bare feet. And as he's slipping backwards out of this box, it's like your classic bodybuilder V-shaped body, but it just keeps going. It's almost as if his muscles have muscles, but he's like completely skipped every leg day ever, and so it's just he just kind of slumps out of this box, and he's like hyper muscled on top, and his face is distorted in this weird like malleable, almost like putty like face that the muscles in his face just ripple and move almost as if they were made of clay.
At the sliding motion out of the box, I'd like to use my held action.
Okay.
And that would be the attack action.
Okay.
So at the movement, Ram will simply lift his gun and fire at the object,
Okay, so
the
that's
thing.
so that's going to be a combat roll. D10 plus your attack bonus, and then any other bonuses you might have. Your attack bonus, your combat, and any attack bonus for your weapon.
Would this be considered an advantage attack?
I would say yes, because he's really all you're getting. You know that he's coming out of the box, so your attack is really going to be pretty much straight on his backside. So that's that's a pretty dirty shot. So I'll say yes, you have advantage.
Okay. All right. So that's going to give me a +4 to my attack.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and roll with my +4. 8.
Okay. So 8. So that's your. Oh, that's right. Your combat is at 0, correct?
My combat itself is 0. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
my pluses are all from the bonuses and from the weapon.
Gotcha. All right. So you are shooting against his armor defense. So you shoot him like right on his glute, and you're using a solid projectile, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. It hits him square on his like right cheek, and it bounces off and goes into the bulkhead to his right. So it just goes patoing, almost as if it hit metal.
Move faster, Ram.
Quick question.
Mhm.
Do we know about mutants?
Yes, those are not. It's common knowledge, although more people believe that. I mean, mutants are mutants. I mean, the church is actually very anti-mutant, but there's also like the boogeyman mutants, which are called the Protogravis, and from every deep spacer tale and everything, you could pretty much put it together that this is one of those. It's like a super mutant.
Okay.
All right, so I saw Ram take that shot. A little bit of panic crosses my face, but then I just bite it down, buckle it under, and focus on balancing this package and maintaining as much speed as I can to sprint back towards the door into the cargo hold.
Okay. All right. That's easily done. You go first, and you have the your action points have refreshed, so you are out the door. Anything else? I'm carrying the box. Even if I doubled your movement costs for holding the box, you still are well. I mean, you can technically move 8 boxes if you wanted to, or 8 squares, I should say.
I see myself, if we're watching the movie of this game, running back towards the door, seeing Calvin right there, trying to skid to a stop and kind of tumbling into him, but we're both into the workshop safely out of the cargo hold.
Okay.
And as we sit there in a heap, Ram, come on, get back in here.
And with that, Ram backs himself through the door with his action,
Okay.
or with his move action, and will take the rest of his actions to shut the door, on his keypad, lock the door, and then drop the atmosphere in the cabin, in the cargo hold again.
Okay.
Dump the atmosphere.
All right.
So the cinematic of this, the door slams shut, cuts to the light, and the light goes from green to red, and a quick zoom on the window shows all of the air in the room rushing out as the vent happens.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and move your guy out of the room. Calvin, are you doing anything as this is happening?
Yes. Pyke Pyke ran into him, Pyke can hear Calvin kind of shaking and whispering, "Mutant. It's a mutant." And that's when Pyke remembers that Calvin has a extreme fear of becoming a mutant, And mutants are one thing that's quick to bring Steven out.
Crap. It's all right, buddy. It's all right. Stay cool. Stay calm. We locked the door. Everything's fine. You're gonna be okay. I need you to stay with me, buddy. I need Calvin to stay with me.
And you can tell he's doing his best to not freak out, but he is got his eyes locked on the mutant. And he is just a shaking and doing his best. Do you want me to roll something to see if
to resist? Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good idea. How about nerve?
I got a 7.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's not that well. I guess it depends on how difficult it is for him to resist. That would make a standard success. Difficult success would be a 9. So maybe he's just barely holding on by a thread.
Yeah. That would
Okay.
work. I would say the longer he's in the presence of one, the harder and harder it
Oh,
would
so
get.
like steps up every round. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right. So yeah. So your whole Calvin's just quaking, staring. The door is closed. You're looking through this this round window leading into the cargo hold, and that's when this roided out, super like 8-foot tall guy springs at the door and bounces off the inside of it. He doesn't go through it, obviously, but he's like, now he is right at the door, and it just goes boom, hits it really hard, and then he's just pounding on the door, boom, 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 and it's getting slower and slower.
How does Mind Burst work?
Mind
Would
burst.
that work through the door?
I think it's line of sight, if I'm not mistaken. Mind burst, range of 4 squares. It's pure psychic energy, and you make an influence check. So as long as you can see it, yep.
All right, as he starts slamming himself into it, Calvin's going to unleash a Mind Burst. Kind of looking a little panicked as he does it.
Yes, you can influence 4 squares. Now, if you meet you're going against the target's nerve defense, and if you exceed the nerve defense, then you deal damage as the result of the D10. You can actually do an overcharge, where you can do it will equal you'll add your influence score and your level to the damage, but the overcharging it will actually cost your level in hit points. So you're putting your own life force into it.
Okay.
Oh no!
Aha. A 5.
A 5. We don't have. That's nobody has rolled a max yet, so we haven't built up anything in
The twist?
the twist pool. So luckily, because that would have been really bad. Because that was the first one before a 10. There was no twist happens, which would have been interesting, like the door accidentally opens or something. So yeah, you did what was your total there?
5 was the total.
5 against the nerve defense. That's on the nose, so right on it. So you did 1 point of damage.
Okay.
All right, so you can see him through the door, through the window, and he's beating on the door, boom, 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 and then you see a little trickle of blood come out of his nose, and he like shakes his head, almost like he's got a tickle in his nose, like blah, blah, and then pow, 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 he starts hitting the door again.
I kind of saw that playing out as, with Calvin getting so panicked, his psychic energy, his telekinesis, almost is like a bit of an aura around him when it triggers out of fear or emotion that's uncontrolled.
Like palpable?
Yeah. So it actually bursts into the room with Ram and me, and it blows us back. Like, it doesn't knock us over, but it knocks us sideways a little
Makes
bit.
There's a physicality to it, like when it emerges.
Yeah. And he was so panicked, that's why it wasn't directed at the mutant. It dissipated into our room here, and only a little bit of it was focused enough through the portal window.
Okay.
All right, buddy. All right. All right. Did good. We got to get out of here, though. Ram, is everything locked down? Are we good?
Go to the airlock. I have a plan.
All right, let's go. So I'm gonna stand on my feet. I'm gonna shoulder the silver package, and then with my other arm, I'm gonna try to basically pull Calvin along with me. Not maybe somewhere between let's go dragging and here, let me help you. Kind of a almost friendly get your ass in gear kind of moment.
Okay.
Calvin doesn't resist. He's doing his best to get there.
All right. As you're so you're in the workshop, and there's this pounding. The power goes off. You're trying to get everybody motivated to move. You got the box. You hear from the opened doorway, Shioran blood-curdling scream.
Oh, son of a... let's go. Come on. So...
I mean,
Are we still in the same turn order?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So was that was Calvin's turn then?
That was...
Or did we drop... Okay.
Yeah, so Ram, you sealed the door and all of that stuff.
Then Calvin...
Yeah.
Yep, then Calvin hit it with its mind power.
Right, and that was his. He was kind of holding his action. He was basically keeping watch until it did that.
Mhm.
So because it moved last, so it's back around to the start of the new order, the new round. So it would be Pyke's turn.
Okay, the big silver package.
Yes.
Does it feel solid, or does it feel like there's stuff moving around inside of it? Let me rephrase that question. Is this a box with something in it, or more like a duffel bag with smaller items that I can feel inside
This
of
is
it?
more of a box, almost like a refrigerated box, like
Almost like... Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the door, assess the situation, but my worry is my plan is I'm probably gonna have to put the box down and hit something. So as I'm moving to the door, I am also kind of starting to maneuver the box off my shoulder, and my other hand letting go of Calvin's jacket and moving towards my sword hilt.
Okay, you can place yourself in that doorway then.
So yeah, I think I would come to the doorway and see what's happening.
So what you see is exactly what's there. Coming up, apparently coming up from the crew quarters below, through the stairs, just in front of you there. Then looks like another one of these protogravis creatures had come up from the crew quarters, and what he has done is Shioran is leaning up against the airlock door. His gun is at his feet where he dropped it, and this thing is just pounding his head repeatedly into the airlock door.
I'm going to drop the package,
Okay.
Take a step towards him, and swing at his neck.
Okay. So that is an attack. So you're going to roll plus your combat, and then any attack bonuses you get from your weapon.
All right, hold on. Bear with me a second. So my sword is a +4 attack, and my combat is a 3. Okay, so I'm rolling at a +7.
So on the character sheet, the weapon has the attack next to it. If you look just above that box, the attack already factors in your combat.
Oh,
Right.
Okay. Oh. Sorry, my bad. So rolling at a +4.
Yes.
Come on, baby.
Ooh,
Hey,
Nice.
that's a 10. So that is a 14 total.
14 total. All right, so you come in, sword, slice him really, really deep.
If I remember you correctly, the roll is also the damage.
Correct.
So that's that's an 18 damage. That's
okay.
a lot of damage.
That's okay.
That's almost half my hit points in damage.
Wow.
Okay, so you step up, boom, and you know you got him good, and
Yeah.
you feel the weapon digs into his flesh, and I mean you've hit you've hit synthetics before, you've hit meat before, and you've hit a mixture of both. And this guy seems like he's mostly meat, but you've never hit something of meat that took it this well. So you definitely hit him. You definitely hurt him. There's no doubt about it. But this thing is working on reserves of strength that is completely, outside the realm of normal.
So Shiorn, does he appear to be dead at this point?
He's not moving, and he certainly didn't look like, from the beginning, he didn't look like he was the type who would be able to take a whole lot of punishment. So if he's not dead, he's probably relatively close to it.
Well, all right. Secondary priority.
So
First is this beast here.
Now you have 4 points of four action points, right?
Well, wait. So I would have moved and
All right,
attacked.
so that leaves you with 2 more points. A second attack costs 2 points. So you still you could do a second attack.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think that feels good. All right. Whoops. Roll. Oof. 8. That still gives me a 12.
12
total.
is good. So your second strike is not as deep as the first, but certainly effective.
So, if I can take a second to describe
Sure.
this here. So I drop the thing, one big movement, like I'm taking like 2 running strides. I'm drawing out this sword. It's more like a giant machete kind of thing, but it's a good 3 or 4 feet long. Like, this is something that had a blade, but I've strengthened it by welding stuff to it. It's like a jury rig sword, like a huge meat cutter kind of thing. So with that first blow, I pulled it up, I just sunk it, I hit that little triangle right between your neck and your collarbone.
The deltoid,
And
right?
I just drove it in as hard as I could. The second attack, I put my boot on his chest, yanked the sword out, and then hacked it into his the side of his chest, like right under his ribs.
Okay, nice, brutal.
And that would that would have been 16 damage for that second attack. And that is all of my AP, so my turn is over.
If you look on your character sheet, I meant to mention this earlier. You have what's called resolve.
Mhm.
That number, it's a maximum of 5 points. You should all be at 2, if I'm not mistaken. What that is 1-for-1 bonuses on a die roll that you can add. If let's say your target number is 6 and you roll a 5, you could spend one of your resolve to make it, what you need it to be. So,
Okay.
not that I don't think anybody's missed or done anything. And if you roll a 1, you can't add resolve to that. That's one of the rules. So, if you adjust something to 10 or roll a 10 on a die, or you adjust something to 10 or greater, then I add to the twist pool. And then once somebody rolls a 1, then I tally those all up, and then we figure out what the twist is.
Okay.
All right.
So we have 1 in the twist pool right now for my
Correct.
10.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so yes, you brutalize him from behind twice.
Phrasing.
We're
Phrasing.
Okay, so yeah, you hack into him twice, and yeah, you're like, a mortal man would have been dead probably twice over at this point, and he's bleeding, but he's still kicking.
All right. So as I do this, I will just bellow out, "Someone shoot him! Help!"
All right, so it looks like Ram is next.
Ram is standing at the cargo hold door, looking through the viewport at this mutant that keeps bashing on the door. And Ram's head kind of tilts to the side a little bit, and he brings up his keypad and throws a couple of key presses in, hits enter, atmosphere rushes into the cargo hold. And with his next set of key presses, there's a bit of a delay. The door light goes red, and the back airlock doors on the cargo hold pop open into space.
So you're going to vent him into space. Okay.
He's getting spaced.
Okay.
And that should be 1, 2, 3. So technically, there's no move, but I think all of that counts for my 4 actions.
Okay. All right. All of that.
And Ram sits there at that door, just watching, kind of almost detached, just out of it's pure curiosity. There's no malice on his face or anger. He's just kind of.
I wonder what happens
exactly.
when I do this.
Like, this will be interesting.
Okay. All right. So
that.
Yeah.
That airlock vents and with the added atmosphere of the cargo hold, suddenly there's a vacuum.
Okay.
And
I can only assume that the ship shudders as the impact moves the ship and the other 2 that are attached to it a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. No rolls necessary on all that. You've already established your dominance over this security system, and this system. So, opening up an airlock.
Power glove, baby. Now you're playing with power.
That's right. All right. Now it's Calvin, and you've heard all this. You hear some screaming from behind. How you holding out?
Let's find out.
Oh, nice.
That's a 10.
There's a lovely 10.
So Calvin maintains control. On the screen, is that white block? Does that block my line of sight?
No, it's an open door.
Okay. Calvin turns around and he pulls out his pistol and two hands, one to aim, one to shoot. And then he's going to fire his pistol.
Okay. All right. And so you
got a 5 total.
5. Yep. Pyke's in there swinging away. You shoot just as he's reeling back after hitting the thing twice. The thing he was hitting it from behind, so the thing's turning its head, and you shoot, and it bounces right off of its forehead, and it doesn't even bleed.
That's not good.
Good try, buddy.
That's not good.
So
I could fire a second shot,
that's
right?
correct. Oh no!
That's
all right. So the 10 you got for the maintaining your cool added to the pool. So we are at 2. If there's 2 or more in the twist pool, trigger a twist.
Go figure.
Roll D10 and add the twist pool. So it's going to be a D10 plus 2. And the person who rolls it is the person who rolls on the chart.
11.
Oof. Nice. Wow, that's pretty friggin' brutal. Okay.
I don't want to hear that.
Great!
Wait, is brutal good, brutal bad?
It's brutal bad-ish because it's during combat. So it's called collateral damage. Accidental deaths, killed by the wrong man, damaged valuable property. So it's a choice of the GM gets to make how it would be more impactful. So what happens is the round ricochets off of glances off of like the side of the mutant's head and bounces and goes right into Shioran's face.
Sorry.
And
he was already basically meat, so
yeah. But as Ram, because you've got the security feed going, there, just the way it looked, it didn't look good. It kind of looked like Calvin just flat out murdered a church pilot.
If Ram had seen that happen, his comment would be, "Well, I can just fix it in post."
Do they still use Audacity in the future? Or is this all garage
That's right.
band?
It's church band.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Nice.
And we all grew up doing that anyway.
That's all my points
Okay.
then.
All right, so that means that it is the creature's turn. So he's going to return the favor. He turns around and he is going. All he has is his hands, so he's just going to try and pummel you with his hands, and he can get 2 attacks in.
That's fair.
All right, so here we go. First attack, not good, is armor defense 6.
My armor defense is a
All right,
9.
so it just slaps up against your armor. More of a getting to know you love tap.
Oh, hello.
And then his second roll is there a leaner? What's going on here? Is that right? There you go. 7. So plus 4. So that's an 11.
Yep, that'll connect.
Okay. He does 12 damage.
Hoof.
Okay. So the one kind of slaps against your chest, backs you up maybe a half step or something like that, and he comes over the top with almost like a pile driver punch, just straight down over the bridge of your nose. Pow! All right, back around to Pyke. So he smacks you on the bridge of your nose, and now it's your turn.
All right, so this guy connects with my face. He definitely breaks my nose. Blood is just streaming down my mouth and manly, stubbly jaw. I'm just angry. You see my eyes just focus, go black. This is pure rage. This so-and-so just punched me in the face. 2 attacks right at him
Okay.
again. All right, what am I rolling at again? A +4.
Nice.
Oh, that's a 10. Oh, that's good and bad. All
Is
right.
it? It looks like it's a little kinked. Looks like it's a little,
Yeah, according to
little
the
wonky.
according to the roll.
According to the,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that'll be a 14 to
Mhm.
hit with an 18 damage.
18, man.
Now, here's a
Mhm.
question. Does the twist pool empty
Yeah.
when we... Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was
Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. And second attack,
nice.
7 + 4 is an
That
11.
hurts him too. So 2 big hits again.
That'll be 15 damage off the second one. All right, so this guy just punched me in the face, just raging out on him. I want to say that I basically, I took this sword, meat cleaver style, smacked it into the bicep, the massive muscle upon muscle bicep of the hand that he punched me
Okay.
with. It's like I'm just take it into this bicep, and then actually I just do the same thing twice. Like I'm just like overhand swing.
So you're
Right
meat cleavering his bicep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
My I want to cut his
Right.
arm off, but obviously there's too many muscles to cut his
Right.
arm
All
off.
right. So you hack him twice, doing what is that? 33 points of damage just to that arm. So yeah. That arm that he hit you across the bridge of your nose, broke your nose with. You hack into it twice, right into his gun, and it's just kind of hanging there limp.
All right. So then I still have 1 AP left.
There is a defend action that you can do once per turn.
Oh, that's so much better than what I was gonna do. What's this? Hold on. Let me look at this.
Looks like it gives you +1 on your defense.
Yeah.
Per point
Right.
spent.
No, you know what? No, Pyke's angry. Pyke's not going to do the smart thing. So I'm going to, with my move. Now, you may not allow me to do this. That's fine. My idea was I want to basically try to bull rush him, like back towards the cockpit, like bodily move him away from the door. That feels like it would be more than just a move action, so I'm okay with that.
I'm thinking that's more of kind of a gain advantage, which costs 2 points.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I still want to basically square up with him so that he really has no easy way to get around me for any other melee attack. I just want to take up his whole field of vision, any space in front of him. I don't want to give him a chance to get around me to hit any of my crew members. Who
okay, so you're being a meat shield for him.
Yeah. So think of maybe this is more a tactical move.
Okay.
Just so I'm in his way.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so Ram is watching through the door to see this thing go out the airlock.
Yep, and there he goes.
As all the other the food boxes and whatever else just empties out the back of the airlock, and this thing holding onto the door frame suddenly its eyes get wide and it just loses its grip and just goes tumbling, hitting the bulkhead, bouncing out the airlock. And as soon as Ram's sure that it's clear, he just hits a button on the keys out of the sequence into his pad and shuts the airlock doors for the back of the ship, and then moves out through the workshop into the main hallway to try to help. It's going to be one move action to get me out into the hallway.
Correct.
Okay, so shutting the airlock took 1 AP, I would assume. My move will take another.
Okay.
So I will come out. I'm coming out. It looks like I'm coming out behind Pyke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to shoot over Pyke's shoulder at the mutant.
Okay.
With my last action point. That is a 5.
All right. So the round bounces off of the mutant. Doesn't find purchase.
And there's a sharp smell of gunpowder in the air.
Right.
And under his breath, Ram says, "Sorry."
As long as it doesn't hit me, I don't care.
All right. Calvin.
Well, we'll start with... All right.
Calvin's
so
already in the hallway,
I failed
right?
that.
Yep. Okay.
So,
I don't think Calvin's with us anymore.
nope. Calvin turns around.
Oh, sorry.
And-
Yeah, not Calvin.
His chin kind of drops down to his chest, and then he slowly looks up and just points his finger at the mutant and just simply says, "No more. You will go away." And then I'm going to unleash with a mind burst, and I'm going to overcharge it. So that's a 8 versus his nerve defense.
An 8 is successful. You overcharged, so that's going to add
he's
your.
gonna
It's going to add your influence and your level to the damage.
So 9 points.
Okay.
Now it says on here, AP cost is action. So is that the same as attack?
Correct.
Okay, so I can fire a second one
Yes,
at
you
him. then.
can. I think. I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, I think it's just counted. Yeah, it's just an action point. So,
okay.
Burst. Attack action. So, yeah. Man,
Same
nice
roll.
grouping.
So another 9 points. As another burst of energy comes flying out of his finger and smashes into the side of the head of the mutant.
You see his knees buckle, and he's still standing, but he looks like he's rough. Blood is like oozing out of his mouth and his nose, his eyes, his ears. It's like his head was being compressed, and now he's not doing well at all, but well enough to wail on Pyke another round.
Yay!
That's fair. That's why I'm standing
Yay,
here.
meat shield!
I am the very definition of a meat shield.
All right, so his first attack is, this is at a +4. So armor defense 8.
And I'm at a 9 right
good.
now.
So it bounces off of your armor. Yet again, he's doing the same tactic, it looks like. He slaps you once, and then he comes across the top. And
That'll hit. That's exactly what happened last time.
And that's 12 damage.
Again, I think those are the exact same 2 rolls you got last time, actually.
So, yeah, so he comes across the top, and your already smashed nose is even worse now. It's like pulverized.
Yeah, I'm hurting. That was pretty rough.
And then it's back around to you.
All right, so he again smashes into me. There's just blood everywhere. I can barely see. I'm seeing red, but not so much because of my anger. It's because of the literal blood that is pouring from my forehead into my eyes, into the blood that is flowing out of my nose. I'm not even at a point where I can think about tactics right now. I'm just going to keep swinging at this guy. Toe to toe. It was his other arm that caught me in the forehead this time. So I'm just going into that forearm, that bicep again. I'm just going to start wailing on him. And come on. Oof, that's only an 8.
Yep, so it just grazes against his arm. It doesn't cut.
All right, so second attack. I'm going to spend a point of my resolve. I'm pretty angry right now. So I'm going to spend a point to treat a die roll as a 10.
Okay, you can do that.
So that would be then 14 to hit with 18 damage.
So you swipe, miss, and then how do you take him out as he drops?
All right, so I took a swipe at that arm, but he was still moving his arm after he punched me, and there's so much blood in my face, I couldn't see it. So it just grazed the outside of his shoulder. But then I blink really hard, shake my head, my vision clears for a second, and I see that the way he was moving, he opened himself up, and there's a clean shot to the first chunk, the first wound I gave him in his neck, and I can actually see his spinal cord.
Okay.
So I take that opportunity and just drive my blade straight to his spine, severing it at the neck.
Yeah, and his body goes rigid and then just slides off of your blade and crumples into a heap.
And then I collapse as well. Oh, God. I drop to my knees. I do the thing where like I put the point of my sword in the ground. I'm leaning on it super hard, panting, breathing heavily, blood everywhere. I'm not dead, but I feel like it.
The proximity alarm goes off from your ship that you are being approached by another ship.
Stephen, help me with Pyke.
What's going on? What?
Stop being so weak. Get up. Walk to our ship.
Stephen, grab the container.
Well, if you put it like that, Jesus.
Okay. Stephen grabs the container. It begins to carry it out.
Is Shiorn completely dead?
Yes. The entry wound was just under his left eye.
Oh. So he slumped over in front of the airlock door. So as I get to my feet, I'm still kind of almost using my sword as a cane to shove myself up to my feet. I'll look down at him. Sorry, friend. Did my best. And I'll kick him out of the way, but not super... It's not a dick move. it's just kind
we can just step over him.
No, I'm still going to kick him out of the way. Just, I'm not going to be a dick about it. That's what I'm saying. And then
I will.
we'll unlock the door.
Yeah,
and head
Ram will key in the codes to open up the airlock door, so the airlock pops into our ship. We can pass through, and then he'll shut the airlock behind us and start the disconnect process.
Okay. As you begin to disconnect, you are now in your own ship. You have the cargo. What are you doing with it?
I'm going to go lie down for a second, guys. Hold on. You take care of that. I need a minute. Ugh.
Steven just walks the cargo into our cargo hold and just drops it unceremoniously, just right in the center, wherever, and just walks away.
I'm going to go to our med bay.
Okay.
And I don't know, get a tissue and just start wiping some of this blood off my face. I'm hoping in the future we still have antiseptic wipes.
Right.
Because, mutant blood is all over me right now. So I'm going to start cleaning myself up. Stat-wise, I'm a little bit under half hit points, so I'm not like crazy dead, but I'm super exhausted. So I will smack at the comlink. Ram! Check the ship, scan it. Is anything on it? Any of those things on board?
Ram will, as he heads up to the cockpit, he will check the scanners on the ship to see if we have anything on board. But I do know the proximity sensor means someone is approaching the ship.
Correct. Yes, there is. You do a quick sweep of the ship itself, and your ship is clean. And yes, the proximity is giving you a countdown of how close this other ship. It's it would start at a certain. You would set it at a certain range, and once something got within that, it doesn't look like it's moving to attack. It's more of a coming alongside to to probably view or make comms connection.
Do we know what kind of ship it is?
Once you get to the cockpit, you'd be able to visually identify it.
So Ram's in the cockpit. He's looking at the sensor sweeps, and can he see the ship through the cockpit window?
Yes, it's coming from the direction of the planet.
Is it another church?
Yes, it is a church
ship.
It's a patrol cutter, so it's headed in your direction. Once it hits comms range, you're hailed, and it's patrol cutter 441 to Paper Unicorn. Acknowledge.
Paper Unicorn acknowledges. Over.
You relayed an SOS. What's the situation?
Handled.
Mutant presence on inbound ship and church cutter. We attempted to assist the church cutter. The people on board, the crew on board the church cutter, were murdered by mutants. We barely escaped. Our ship is clean. The mutants have been taken care of.
Hold position. Prepare. If you have any defensive capabilities, please stand them down. And
Understood.
Hey, so how about that gate? What's the status of that gate?
The jump
the
gate?
jump gate. You would. It's as far as you know, it's clear.
Does the jump? Do we have to have other than having clearance to use the jump gate? Does someone have to activate the jump gate so that we can pass through it?
Usually, the ship that guards it would have the access codes to activate it.
Luckily, we have those access
guess
codes.
What we have.
So,
all right. So I hear all this stuff happening over the comms. I hear what Ram says. I will switch. I will switch to the internal only comms. Ram, is the jump gate still clear?
Affirmative, sir.
And did you get the codes when you when Dead Fella gave us the access?
Already keyed in, sir.
Punch it.
Affirmative. Stand by.
Hey, Calvin. Or, wait. Steven. You on the ship.
What?
Hold on.
Fine.
And from the cockpit, Ram reaches on the left console, and he is going to enter in the key codes that they received in our mass download from the church cutter.
Okay.
Enter those access codes, and when he hits the submit button or the enter button, the external view of the ship would show the gate kind of coming to life, like I would say a series of lights, like starts at the top of the gate and then circles down the gate, indicating that it's on and ready to go. And there's a shimmering of the gate itself, and they light up in LED fashion. They don't like lock into place, but like symbols form out of like what appears to be like an LED type of surface on the outside of the gate, almost like an old school bus sign that says the destination.
Okay, yeah.
They're unreadable to us because we don't speak that language, but anybody who reads it could. It's old. The gates have been around for a while.
Right.
And really, only the synthetics can read it anyway. And then Ram will punch the ship forward at top speed toward the gate.
Okay, and so you're going to try and outrun the patrol cutter because it's moving into position like it was going to, it's going to start docking procedures. So you're going to try and outrun it, sprinting to the gate. I'm just making
That's
sure
correct.
I'm correct. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everyone, hold on. I'd like to, if I can, I'd like to use the ship's mystery.
Okay.
Mystery 2, which is arrives at destination 2 minutes sooner than should happen.
Okay. There it is.
Like
Okay.
that.
All right. So, which of the vehicles are on scene? Determine driver velocity, if any drivers are trained. All drivers roll a D10 plus your DV. Vehicle's velocity plus operation roll plus 1. That's for trained drivers only.
Okay, so velocity is 500.
Okay. Which it's going to be equal velocity to you because it's the same kind of vehicle. So it'll be 500 plus an operations roll plus 1.
Okay. Can do.
And he is a trained driver.
Is it a opposing roll?
Yes. Okay. So the 500s are going to nice.
Boom.
So yeah, your 500s are going to wash. So basically, what it is, it was just going to be a roll off to see who has.
That's going to be a 14.
Okay. All right. That determines your turn order. So you got a 14. All right. He gets. Oh, I don't know why I did that twice, but he gets a 7. So you are way ahead of him. So he was like, yeah, as you start to pull away, it's like you hear through your comm, wait, stop.
Don't stop. Don't wait.
All right.
I do not intend to, sir.
Good. Not what I pay you for.
You pay me?
All right. So you're going to try, what you're trying to do is you're trying to do an escape. So this is a driver's velocity. It's an opposed velocity roll. Driver's velocity. So he doesn't even get a chance to try and like latch on or anything. You're immediately going for the escape. First thing you do is each takes one action, and he doesn't have any pursuit points at this point because he hasn't started the chase. So basically, what you need to do, roll the operation plus 1.
Okay.
And it's opposed. And if you win, you gain an escape point. And if he wins, just roll another 10. Wow.
I did.
Man.
Man, it's gonna suck when we roll that one.
because right now you're at 4. So he's gonna roll. He's gonna have. He can't.
So that it's roll plus operation plus 1.
Correct.
Okay, so that makes it 15.
All right, so you got a 15 and he got a 4. So you doubled up, or you got 15. You got him by 11. So that's a
Holy crap.
So that's a superb. I mean, it was like he was just caught with his pants down. So instead, normally you would get an escape point for the success, but because it's and then 2 for an excellent success, you got 4 for a superb success. With your 4th escape point, your pursuers lose track of you, and if there's multiple people, then you would lose one of them. Well, you only have one person that's trying to pursue you.
I'd like to say that the engines kicked in so quickly and Ram was able to accelerate the ship so quickly that the actual jet wash from our ship caused a little bit of an inertia on the pursuing ship, and they actually kind of slowly they kind of sideswipe or scrape the other clipper that's there.
Okay, yeah. So it causes them to lose a little bit of control and everything. So you not only did you tear ass away from him, but you made him look stupid. All right, so your ship, the paper unicorn, just kind of gets into the jump gate approach, and then right through, and the lights flare as you go through, and then go out, and you are through the gate. And in your haste, of course, you're trying to make the quickest escape possible. You're just where you're going to go is where the previous thing came from.
Shit.